Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Troy City Council. As you can tell, I have little to no voice, so I'm going to be deferring to my right hand, our President Pro Tem this evening, for a lot of the help. But please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening before our, well, actually, we should take a roll call. So, Councilmember DiLorenzo.
Present.
Councilmember Struber.
Present.
Councilmember McLaren.
Present.
Councilmember McKee.
Present.
Councilmember Favreau.
Present.
Councilmember Campbell Cohen.
Present.
And Council President Steele, present. Before we begin our special finance committee agenda, we will be having a presentation by our comptroller on the 2025 AFR, the Q4 and Q1 reports. So I'd like to invite everyone forward for that presentation. Thank you for being here.
Good evening, Council. Once again, thank you again. What we sent the AFR, which was filed before the deadline of April 30th. April 30th. Michael, answer any questions on that. You also have in front of you the fourth quarter, 2025, and the first quarter of 2026. I know Michael also brought over an amended fourth quarter of 2025. So please replace your 2025 fourth quarter with that. Before we hand over to Mike, just a couple quick things. Most importantly, as many folks know, since taking office, we continue to do more with less. When we talk less in terms of not just a reduced staff, but really thinking differently about how services here in the city of Troy are given to our residents, to our taxpayers. We're very proud of the past 2 years, 5 months, our safer, cleaner quality of life action crews. And there is no doubt that our city is cleaner than it's been in probably decades. On top of it, we all know that gun violence, guns off the street, crime, we have the stats in terms of how crime has reduced here in the city of Troy from 2024 through 2025, and here we are in 2026. Why we talk about this is because hand in hand with revitalizing our neighborhoods, keeping our streets safer and cleaner, it all comes down to budget. You have to pay for this. You have to pay for the milling, the paving, the lead pipe replacement. And someone did ask, how are you doing it? How are you being more efficient? Just today, because we know what's happening in other municipalities with the unfunded mandates of pension costs, of healthcare costs. We continue to stretch every penny. We continue to literally, use our workforce in the most efficient manners. I can't say enough about these folks that are at the table, about our department heads, our supervisors, and once again, the boots on the ground folks who are getting it done day in and day out, keeping our streets safer and cleaner. One of the things before I hand over to Mike, for the first time since the temporary garbage fee was put into place, which ultimately the following year turned into a permanent garbage fee, where folks were getting it included in their taxes before that. For the first time ever, we reduced the garbage fee, as you know, for 2026. And for the first time ever, we actually did not lose money. So saying that it's a real testament to the deputy mayor, the comptroller, the general services commission, the boots on the ground, the quality of life action crew. As mentioned, we're competing with the private sector because we are providing services more efficient. The bulk drop-offs at the Alamo has a big impact on that also. So we're very proud where we've come. We're very proud where we're going. ARPA, as you know, you're going to see, obviously, the federal aid. ARPA will be spent by the end of this year. It must be. And so saying that, the steering committee will regroup on that. So I'll hand it over to Mike. We'll hit the AFR first, fourth quarter, 2025, and then the first quarter. And once again, the first quarter, obviously, it's so premature right now. Andy, at times, I believe, would literally, the prior comptroller, because we're kind of going off of that basis in that formula, but saying that the first quarter, we wouldn't even really go hard into until June, because that's really when the real litmus is, because the first quarter is so premature in terms of the budget and the AFR. We obviously will go through, and the fourth quarter replicates the AFR. So saying that, let's hit the AFR. If you have any questions, we'll take it from there.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. So we will go over the results of the 2025 annual financial report filed with New York State. But first, I just wanted to give a shout out to the staff and the administration for their assistance in completing the AFR. The Comptroller/Treasurer's office is extremely busy office. I mean, we're responsible for creating, posting payments on some 85,000 bills a year, processing 9,000 vouchers for payment for the multitude of vendors, the 15,000 checks per year to keep the city staff going, human resources providing the employees the information they need on the multitude of benefits, and lastly, the accounting staff working with the nearly 90,000 lines of data throughout the roughly 1,800 active ledger accounts, so that I can eventually pull the data needed to complete the AFR. So that being said, I'll just briefly go over the PowerPoints of the AFR, and then we'll roll right into the fourth quarter, because they were ultimately the exact same numbers, or should be, which is presented in the AFR. So the current year's operations for the general water, sewer, and the CL, the garbage fund, all ended the year with a surplus. The general fund, and again, I have to preface this with the reality that these are pre-audit, unaudited figures. This is basically the starting blocks for the audit, and we'll be getting, the audits will come in over the next 5 months, and we'll to nail down the final results. But that being said, general fund showed a surplus of $453,000. Water fund, a surplus of $411,000. Sewer fund, a surplus of $187,000. Garbage fund, a $5,000 surplus. And debt service, it did have a surplus of 38, but that's obviously not an operating fund. Do need to note, there is a prior period accounting entry in the AFR to reclass fund balance between the capital and the water funds. It was due to ordinances passed back in 2023. The ordinances required the transfer of some $1.3 million from the water fund to the capital projects fund. The required reclass entry reduced the water fund's fund balance by said amount, and it increased the capital projects fund balance by the same amount in the 2025 books. Some of the other items, cash balances at the end of 25 were about 72.2 million in cash. ARPA expenditures were about 6.7 million spent in 2025. The reserves in the general fund maintain their balances that were there in 2024. Capital reserve, it's 3.3 million. The snow and ice reserve is 627,000. Insurance, 343,000. Unemployment reserve, 314,000. And the workers' comp reserve has 69,000. The city's total indebtedness at the end of 25 equals the 2024 levels at about 104 million. And lastly, before we get into the actual reports from the fourth quarter, which is actually for the year, just wanted to note that, Troy, as every New York State municipality faces, the increases in pension and healthcare. The increase in the 2025 pension cost was 1.2 million over 2024, and healthcare increase $1.5 million. So again, numbers that we have no control over. That being said, we'll roll into the fourth quarter reports. Again, these are the same numbers that you'll see in the AFR.
Mike, excuse me.
Sure.
Should we entertain questions on the AFR?
Sure.
Before we go into the quarterly reports? Do any council members have questions of Mike on the AFR?
Yes. On page 3 of the AFR, there is a line for credits with National Grid. I was just wondering what those credits are for, how long we get them, et cetera.
Yeah, those are credits that are being generated from our solar farms, I believe, that are outpacing the credits we can apply against our electric bills. So the numbered page 3, oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, 1.6. So does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Council
President?
Member Di Lorenzo.
So, for the AFR, I believe it's page 46. It's for the water fund. I noticed we have about 11.9 million in the cash account, but there's also a large, or a seemingly large figure, 8.5 million in due funds.
Correct.
I was just wondering if you could explain that.
That's just
That
the,
seems to have increased a lot since last year.
but the net effect is the fund balance. So, I mean, the fund balance did increase. It's just a moving of money. We have clearing accounts that it's like a treasury account. It holds all the funds, and then money's just pulled as needed to pay various bills and whatnot, and sets up the due to froms. It could be a multitude of reasons why the money's moving and sitting where it's at. But there's basically 2 large accounts that's housing a large majority of the city's monies as far as the operating funds that are needed. So it all levels out between all funds. It has to balance. So
Okay.
It's just an accounting mechanism to ease the movement of funds to pay bills and invest.
Council President?
Council Member Stover.
Starting on page 38 for the miscellaneous special revenue account, could you just go over for those of us listening who might not be very financially knowledgeable? Could you explain what the miscellaneous special revenue account is for?
The vast majority of the funds in there is to deal with the payment of the expending of the ARPA funds. Now,
Okay.
there is some smaller grants that might move through there, but I'd say the majority, the large majority is to deal with the ARPA expenditure.
And then follow up. According to the report, it is in the negatives right now. Could you explain how that
That's
works?
correct. Yeah, so there's monies that move between the capital project and the CM fund. So there's projects that are housed in the H fund that were set up years ago. So there's going to be that's going to net out with the capital projects in the end. You're right. There should be little or no movement in the CM fund on the fund balance.
Okay.
But that'll all come out in the order. I couldn't find it right away, but it's just a last minute post on here. But it's sitting. The expenditures are what they are. There's no question. It's just a matter of posting an interfund transfer from the capital projects.
Okay, thank you.
If I could jump in on that, one thing with the accounting, which we're looking forward to is Tyler, being complete. It's obviously it's taking time to implement that new accounting system. As you know, the KVS does multiple number of accounts. But saying that Tyler will make just the reporting, looking for various capital accounts, things like that. Don't get me wrong. Mike eventually finds them, but it's weaving through a 1980s KVS program. We're looking forward to Tyler. And so saying that, a lot of the reporting will become more efficient also. And I'll let Mike jump in on that if you want.
Oh yeah, which once we implement the new software, we're hoping to streamline a lot of the processes and peel out. I mean, I didn't obviously set up this setup. It's anyway, but it is what it is. So we're dealing with it and we're moving on.
Council President,
Councilmember McKee.
with the new software, will you be able to issue?
It's very hard to hear you.
I thought it was. It's-
Yeah.
Yes. With the new software, will you be able to issue reports in a more standard format? I think these are on Excel spreadsheets, financial statements.
Well, it depends on what the report format we're looking to get to you. So I don't know what's in the canned reports, so to speak. So I can't really speak on that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I have another question. At the end of the year, Ordinance 46, the city council appropriated 250,000 from the Capital Fund H account to provide funds to the LDC, amount of 250,000 for the pre-development cost, I believe, of the move to Proctor's. And can you tell me when that payment was made and how it was booked?
I'd have to look into that. I honestly couldn't give you an honest answer.
Can you get back to me on?
Sure. The
Thank
200,
you.
what was it, 250?
250, yeah, I think it was split between $500,000. I think Seamus is aware, right? 250 from the LDC and 250 from the city.
Oh, okay. To the City Hall project.
And I believe on the books, the audited books of the LDC, it shows up as a grant from the city to the LDC.
Yeah,
Correct.
I'm sure it was booked if the money moved. There would have been a yeah, I'll have to get back to you.
Okay, and
Sorry.
then that amount would have been added to the purchase price of the proctors by the LDC. So the purchase price is up to 2.8 million, not the 1.8 million.
That, I don't know,
It's on the books of the LDC.
we're having a microphone problem tonight. So, sorry, can you hear me? Okay. I'm sorry, say that again?
Yeah, the 500 million for the pre-development cost, and then there was another
500,000.
500,000, sorry. 500,000 for development costs that went to Joe Nicola. And that was $1 million. It was $1 million that was booked as part of the purchase price, part of the cost of purchasing the building.
Yeah, so the actual purchase of the old Proctors, the new City Hall is $1.8 million. That 500,000, the million altogether. So the $500,000 that went as a development fee, let's say that was broken out separately from the purchase price. The 250 from the city and the 250 from the LDC were either to serve as two things. If the lease ended up not getting approved by the city council, it kind of was referred to almost of a breakup fee, because there was almost $500,000 worth of design and different work that already went into the project. As the project went through, it went into it as equity.
It's on the books of the LDC as 2.8 million.
Okay,
Audited financial statement.
yes, and I know, as being an LDC board member, we've, had some discussion about some of those items at our board. But just for clarification, those are how it is necessarily booked on the LDC. The 1.8 million is what is considered the sales price of the building. Those two other fees are separate outside of the
Okay.
purchase price.
But the grant, so the 250 from the city that went to the pre-development cost is booked as a grant received from the city by the LDC.
Correct,
You're aware of that? Okay.
correct.
Okay, and please, could you get back to me on the date that was sent?
Councilmember Campbell Cohen.
I have a handful. I'll do a few and then back off and let other folks go. But the ones that were the items in the AFR that I was most seeking clarification on are basically all of pages 81 and 82. It's for debt service. It just seems like something has obviously changed. And I was hoping to get some insight into what that is.
So 82.
81 and 82.
Okay, what's the question?
Just if for these two pages, you could walk us through what is happening such that the numbers are pretty dramatically different from the previous years. So like,
Yeah, I can't attest to the 24 numbers. So
okay.
again, I don't know what's behind those. Those are unaudited figures. They didn't end up in the financials. We'd have to measure this against the audited financials to give you a full picture of, if you're looking for the variances here.
Mhm.
But I mean, the cash is the cash. There's really not much in the fund. Is there a specific question?
Well, I mean, we're seeing in 2023 a cash balance of about 6.4 million, in 2024 a cash balance of about 7.6 million. So there's like a
Yeah,
level there, and then we're dropping to 1.8 million the next year. And then due from
yeah,
other
but
funds.
do you see? So you have 7.6 million and again, then this is unaudited. I'd have to pull the financials, but you have a due to of almost 4 million sitting in the account. So it basically wipes out 4 million from your cash if you wanted to settle up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. There's still a little bit missing from the till there.
Yeah, again, the 24, I'd have to pull the 24 financials. Again, I can't measure against the AFR numbers.
Okay, and is the answer the same for lines 914 and 915? Just pretty big shifts.
Again, yeah, I'd have to pull the financials and get you back. So, I mean, the operations will show you what actually the move in the fund balance for 25 was, without question. Again, it's unaudited. But, you know, if you look at the revenues of 8 million, expenditures of 8 million, the difference in the bottom line. So the fund balance was a fund, again, but this is 24. I can't even measure against that. So large restatement, yeah. The numbers in 25 are ultimately what's going to move the fund balance. And again, that moved, I think, $38,000 in 25.
Okay, maybe we put a pin in this and just follow up over email after.
Yeah, well, again, yeah, I'll have to provide you. Do you guys have the audited financials from 24?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what you need to look at to measure against this number. Because there's definitely a move that's not reflected in the AFR.
Okay.
In the 24 numbers. I don't know what happened.
Okay. We'll put a pin in that, but definitely return to it. Not tonight, but at another time. And then my other sort of big question, just looking at the budget and what's coming through in the AFR and the Q4 report as well. What I'm seeing is a structural expectation of the water fund to get more revenue than it needs to sustain water operations. Because there's an interfund budgeted into the water fund is a transfer out to the general fund.
There is transfer, yes. Yeah, that's
And
been the
it's
case
budgeted
for every
baked
year.
into the budget.
It is.
My understanding is that the cost of these rates for water rates and things like that is supposed to be proportionate to the maintenance of the system itself. Should we be trying to bring that number back down and not budgeting out transfers? From my understanding, I could be wrong. My understanding is that if you have like a great windfall one year, like you expected less revenue and then it turns out there's more, then that's an appropriate place to have a transfer out. But when it's budgeted at the beginning of the year, then that means that you know that the water rates exceed the cost of maintaining water.
I've always been of the opinion you need to look at the entire budget, but how much you need to raise for the entire budget. And I'll start piecemealing it between funds. But that's the OSC guidance requires you to budget as such. But if you put it all together and had just everything in the general fund budget, you'd still be raising the same amount of revenue one way or another, whether it's, you want to call it a water tax, you want to call it a property tax. You know what I'm saying?
If Mike and a council member, I think I get where you're coming from too. So if you were, I think where it would be unadvisable, if you started to sacrifice the health of the water fund to benefit the health of the general fund, you could get into a bad area. I think that, I mean, look, minimizing transfers between any of the funds, you could argue would not be a negative thing to take on. But as you'll see through the history of Troy's budget, there has been consistently that transfer just due to being such a strapped, a limited revenue source city, that water is an instance where we, can gain our revenues. So I do know that those transfers can go to support. Again, you wouldn't want to do anything that would necessarily damage the other fund from things that I've read from OSC guidance. And, of course, there's also interfund revenues that are more tied to more exact, what are we billing the other funds, things like that.
Okay.
That's, I think,
I follow what you're saying.
yeah.
I think we may have a difference of opinion, but that's fine.
but and
yeah.
that's okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm gonna not dominate questions here, so I'll let go.
Councilmember Favreau.
Yes. I apologize. I don't have a digital copy of this in front of me, so I'm relying on some of my notes here. But looking at the AFR, I see that we raised, I think it was like $230,000 in adult cannabis use. So I see that broken out in the AFR, but I don't see that broken out in our current budget or in any of the quarterlies. Can you tell me what line that is?
Yeah, well, there's obviously a line if we receive some revenue.
Right.
Yeah, no, but
It's a new revenue, so in the future you will see it, but because it was new and it's the first year we've received it, so. um,
yeah, no, I mean, as far as the category that landed in,
We'll get that.
it's under the local,
It's not under local sources sales tax.
it's under local pilot interest penalties, utility taxes, et cetera. That's where the excise taxes are filed.
Okay. And I know I had requested a call with you or some email just because I have a lot of differences like this going line by line. For example, fines and forfeitures on the quarterly report shows 895,000, but in the AFR, it's over 1.4 million. So I guess this is just me publicly asking for a phone call so that we can go through this, because the budget is a huge interest of mine and I would love to be able to understand.
Sure, well, just email me the questions and I'll respond accordingly.
Sure. And for clarification, the AFR is done in an accrual or is that cash basis?
It's a modified accrual.
Modified. Okay. And a general request moving forward, looking at the quarterly.
I take that, I mean, all the funds here in the city are in a modified accrual basis, so there's no proprietary funds here, so.
Including the quarterly.
So, I mean, otherwise it'd be full accruals involved, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, it's, I believe everything's modified accrual in these financials. I should say in the financials in the AFR.
And the quarterlies are reported on what basis?
The same basis, it's all modified
Okay.
accrual. We're measuring the same way.
That's just a different answer that was given to me this week when I had emailed.
Well, I believe he said accrual versus cash. It's modified accrual.
Which is, yeah, different than accrual. Yeah. I'll hand it over while I pull myself together.
Council President.
Councilmember McLaren.
Because of the state budget not being done yet, do we have, I mean, obviously that's a blank in here. Is there any indication that,
What's a blank? I'm sorry.
actually
Okay.
it doesn't, it's blank on page 41.
It's blank. Oh, yeah, well, there wouldn't have been any, if we received anything, it would have been posted there.
Okay.
That's,
That's not.
that's 25's numbers we're looking at there. Obviously has nothing to do with the current budget,
Okay.
I
So,
assume.
oh, okay.
That's not where the aim goes. The aim doesn't go on that line.
But the aim was recorded accordingly. That's received in 25.
So,
The 26 they're holding up.
okay. And I know you said you can't speak to the 24 numbers. But there was, 500,000 in 23, 2.3 million in 24.
Yeah, I am.
Why you don't?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I can only assume what it is
Okay.
without me.
Thank you.
Again, I don't have.
Councilmember
Submit.
Campbell Cohen.
Looking at Q4 2025 or the AFR, pick your poison, I guess. For sales tax revenue, I'm seeing us falling a little bit short of the projection.
Are we on to the reports now? Are we done with the?
Well,
Yeah.
I suppose you could also get there through the AFR. It's-
Yeah, no,
Okay.
this said. Council President asked that we just address the AFR, which
Okay.
is basically the same numbers as the fourth quarter report.
Rich, I will. If we look at the AFR and then look at the sales tax revenue for the exact same period of time, what I'm seeing is that our projections fell a bit short of what was actually collected in 2025. And then I'm seeing our projection for this year even higher, but the last report I saw from OSC was that sales tax was actually slightly down. Do we need to adjust our revenue projections for sales tax?
Again, I don't know. I didn't see that report, whatever's, but as far as the 25 sales tax, what's reported there, after audit, but it should be correct. But it did outperform 24's numbers.
It did. It just underperformed our projection by
Yeah,
almost. a million.
the report does state such.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel less nervous about misses on expenditures than revenue projections. But as a council, we can amend projections. So I'm just requesting that
yeah.
we take a look at that.
Again, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Stuber.
Going to page 51 of the AFR,
Which page? I'm sorry.
51. In the water operations, there's a line item for unclassified miscellaneous revenue, and I was wondering what kinds of things that is.
I believe that's the employee's contribution to health insurance. Is the large majority of that.
Okay, in other parts of the report, it specifically says employee contribution, and this one did not.
It doesn't have that option in the water fund for whatever. The OSC doesn't provide the drop down for that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Council President.
Councilmember Favreau.
I just have a general question because you started off the presentation stating that we came out ahead in each of the accounts.
The accounts I stated, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, in the operating, in the 25 operations.
Correct.
Correct.
And do you have a total for those
A total.
of how much we saved essentially? We didn't, we.
Well, it's here in the AFR. We can, if you go, it's all listed there. In the,
I totaled it and I wanted to make sure it was just about $2.5 million.
that sounds high. I think it was about $1 million.
So
I think I brought it. Oh yeah, here it is right here, right in the top. For the general water, sewer, garbage and debt service, it's just under 1.1 million.
And what do we do with those funds at the end of the year? Like, how are they built into our current budget?
To your current budget?
Well,
I mean, the results are just coming out, so obviously it is what it is. It's sitting on your balance sheet.
okay. And do we track how much we come ahead or below each year? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's what
Without-
the AFR shows you that. That's the whole purpose of this report, to see how the funds operate and perform. As you move through, the fund balance is your barometer for these funds. There's no net positions in here.
Year after year.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, it's hard to see. Yeah.
Any other questions on the AFR? If not, we'll move on to the fourth quarter, please.
Council President.
Oh, Councilmember Di Lorenzo.
flipping to the garbage fund revenue page, something that jumped out at me was we had.
Are we on the AFR?
Fourth
We're on
quarter,
fourth quarter. We are,
25.
okay. To the,
For interfund transfers, says we have a 523% change, which for 2024, we had, $80,500. For 25, we have 502,000.
I'm sorry, which fund are you looking at?
CL fund, garbage, fourth quarter 25 revenue. And the line item is interfund transfers.
Okay,
And so, looking at that, it looks like we moved some money in here to, it looks like we're falling short with the garbage fund. Is that, what's happening, or why is that interfund transfer so much higher this year?
I was clearly budgeted as such.
Okay.
But I'd have to look at the actual budget. And
Is the question, why was it budgeted as such then?
Yeah,
I guess so.
because without that transfer, we wouldn't be able to cover our expenses.
Be a little short.
Yes.
Yes, you see throughout the budget, kind of going back off to the water fund, where there's various in not only just interfund transfers, but interfund revenues. And those, again, and just to be clear too, and kind of one of the other council members noted earlier about trying to keep those transfers down as well, but it's like the mayor had noted, since the garbage fund was instituted, that the general fund in one way or another, whether it ran in the red, would be picking up some of the slack in that too. So it's just maybe a little higher of a transfer to try to support it that much more. Again, it's kind of that balancing act between all the different funds to try to get to the ultimate whole goal of being, positive across the whole funds while minimizing the impact on the taxpayer.
Council President,
Councilmember Campbell Cohen.
on the AFR, on page 10, number 2705, gifts and donations. I can put them out.
Too late.
Sorry, I have another.
Do not pass go.
For gifts and donations, seem like a pretty stable number going back. And then a pretty,
I'd have to get back to you on what's populating that.
okay. I'd be grateful for it. I mean, if for no other reason than to know who to thank.
That's the TRF.
So we can, Councilmember, we can double check for you, but I do believe that's where the Troy Redevelopment Foundation is normally booked. And I will say that when we got into office, which was really, it's more of kind of an accounting, obviously there's a bunch of accounting issues, but there was a lag in the TRF. And then I think when we got into, it might not have, by the time it came in, the way it was booked, that equates to, I believe, somewhere around $255,000 a year. And if you, again, we can double check, but
Okay. That makes sense to me.
I do recall from the accounting side that, especially too, when we were using BST, I think that because they just recognized it as it came in, although it was really allotted for other years. We can double check, but that's kind of ringing a bell to me.
Okay. I think that's it on my end.
And I'm gonna stay with the AFR too before you switch over. Page 19, I'm looking at debt service for leases. So back in 2023, we were paying close to $680,000 for a lease. And the last 2 years, we don't have anything. Do you know what zeroed out there?
Again, I can't attest to why there's anything populating 23, but there isn't any debt service as far as classifying principal and interest payments in the budget for the funds. Everything's or a transfer to other funds. All the principal and interest is recorded in the debt service fund itself. So I don't know what was going on in 23 here, but
And then I had another question in regard to ARPA. Looking at the fourth quarter ending number, it looks like we have about $14 million left to be spent in 2026. At the ARPA steering committee meeting, we received a spreadsheet that said we had about $11 million.
Yeah, there's definitely, I'd have to get back to you on that. I don't know these are, I didn't set these numbers up that are sitting in the budget, because that's what's driving that number that you're seeing.
I would,
Whatever.
you know, although, again, and Mike can look into it, but I don't know if there's a lag of from one goes to the other, but just to give clarification, the spreadsheet that you were provided at our steering committee, that is as the checks, reimbursements are physically going out the door, being recorded on that sheet. So,
Okay.
again, I'd understand why you want to see those two numbers to match,
Yeah.
but just to give perspective of what again, if there might be an accounting lag or something on that end, but the number that was provided at the steering committee should be the most up-to-date, accurate number that we have.
Okay. And because this is an accrual, a modified accrual, it's showing our real property taxes revenue that we received, for example, for the general fund was at 99.98%. I'm assuming that's just because that's what we've invoiced for. Do you guys have
That's correct.
do you have an update of what we actually received?
I believe the rate is 97-98% has been the ratio of collections. So that'll all come out in the audit. So they'll adjust the revenues if need be, if there's a swing, especially if you have a, big swing in the economy, which will cause people not to pay their taxes, and you'll see a big hit against this line.
Yeah. And that's a concern of mine, admittedly, piggybacking off of what Greg said earlier in regards to the local sales tax. And I did see that report that came out for the first quarter of 2026, and we were in the negative compared to last year. So I would, moving forward with the quarterlies, I would love to have an update of what people are actually paying, and if we have to be concerned moving forward in order to make ends
Well, we
meet.
provide the sales tax number in the report. There hasn't been any sales tax collected for first quarter that we recognize from the county hasn't been received yet. The first payment doesn't come till June, I think.
Yeah. Oh, for like taxes and the water bills and stuff moving forward, it'd be good to know if there's any changes happening just with the cost of it.
Yeah, no, I just looked at the rate, and I believe it was a little better than 97%.
Okay, thank you.
And that was just through, and actually we get to measure through February. You get 60 days after the year end, so it was probably even better than that.
Councilmember Campbell Cohen.
Thank you very much. This looks like a positive shift, at least at first glance, but I was hoping to hear sort of the thinking behind it. It looks like on page 2 of the AFR, we're moving some of our cash into cash and time deposits. Can you just walk us through how you arrived at that relative to what you're seeing in previous years where that wasn't?
Again, I can't attest to the 24 figures. We're definitely trying to take advantage of all the interest income we can retrieve as possible. So
Okay.
it's, one of the revenue streams we do have.
And are you finding that helpful? Are you finding that helpful?
Oh, I'm sorry. What's helpful?
Are you finding the new practice is helpful, taking advantage of the cash and time?
Well, I mean, it's just common sense. You just
Uh-huh.
try to, maximize interest income.
And
So
we
put
weren't
them in
doing
any
that.
vehicle and there's limited choices for municipalities, but yeah, no.
Okay, great.
And I'm just curious, piggybacking off of that, is it Cedars or CDs? Or what are you investing?
No, we're just it's all sitting with Pioneer. They're giving very competitive rates. So we're currently sitting in Pioneer.
Are you aware of New York liquid acid assets. I think it's foundation, NILAF.
Night class,
NILAF.
night class.
It used to be night class, but I think they merged and it's now NILAF.
Is that what it is? Okay,
It
yes.
is,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm very familiar with it.
Okay, are we eligible to be participating in that? I don't know what the rates. I would have a conversation. with
I'm
you.
sure we are eligible.
Okay.
We'd have to look at the investment policy the city follows,
Yeah.
but because it would, if not, you'd have to obviously update the policy, but.
Yeah.
That, I just
It was,
thinking the same. thing.
yeah.
I
It
didn't
just
know-
merged.
I
Yeah.
didn't-
They have great
If
rates.
they did, I wasn't aware of that.
Any other questions? We'll move on to the first quarter then.
Yeah. I tried to. So as the mayor alluded to earlier on the first quarter results, they are skewed. And it's not uncommon when you're rolling into the first quarter, you make sure and I mean, mind you, the time constraints, but
We lost.
regardless, to pile these reports together like this is, sometimes counterproductive, but yeah, so there's timing issues. There's accruals you've got to be sure have been reversed out. So first quarter, yeah, or just the fact of a payable just not posting in the proper quarter, being paid in April versus March is going to skew the numbers, especially when you're paying insurance bills, which are normally paying the premiums upfront for the year for the most part for some of these larger policies. So that can swing these numbers dramatically as far as when you're looking at a quarterly report. It's really it's a bad measurement tool at this point right now. But they're there. I tried to scrub down the numbers best I could to, if you have any questions, and hopefully I'll have an answer for you.
Council President,
Councilmember Favreau.
can you please explain what intergovernmental charges are? We haven't received any
Inter-
revenue there, so I was just curious.
Intergovernmental charges. Oh, for the first quarter, what I did look at that. Oh, wait, something here. School districts and is the grid credits in there? Hold on a second. Intergovernmental. I think you're right. Yeah, so it looks like so there, yeah, the national grid credits are in there, civil services for school districts and the rental of real property, it looks like. So that's normally a year-end adjustment. It's because we have to request an analysis from National Grid to see what was posted to what, and then we'll make the necessary adjustment. But we should make the necessary adjustment by increasing your expenditures and increasing your revenues. So really, in the end, the way to look at it, you're going to see the reduction in your utility bills throughout the year, and then there'll be an adjusting entry made when the financials come through.
Okay. And flipping over to the expense for the general fund, it looks like we have overspent already for snow plowing. And
I think we had a tough winter here.
yeah, we did. So
We're
we'll
into the
just,
expenditures. Let's see.
there's not going to be any snow in 2026. Okay, so.
You heard it here.
You heard it here. You project, obviously, Mother Nature, hard to predict, a very, very long, tough winter, and it actually extended longer, as we know, into 2026. So what'll happen, I mean, if we have to come back for a transfer at the end of the year, that, you know, will happen, but, or the reserve.
Councilmember Campbell Cohen.
I would, just on that point about the transfer at the end of the year, obviously with something like snow plowing, you know, you might go overtime in 2 weeks, depending on how crazy it gets. So I understand how you could go over on overtime on something like that, but I would love if we were adjusting the budget more regularly than at the end of the year, for transfers, just sort
We
of to keep it-
typically try to address them when they go over.
Uh-huh,
We would technically is the process, I believe.
okay,
And I think too, just when, specifically when it comes to snow plowing, I know that there is certain end of the year transfers that are referred to as cleanup transfers, thing like that. But even the snow plowing, I think what we're referring to is we would come to you before we get into, I know we all would hope there's no snowfall. When we get into the time that we might see more snowfall, especially since it you know, trickled over just a bit here.
okay. Yeah, I think we're understanding.
Okay.
Council,
Councilmember McKee.
I just have a quick question. When do we typically get our state aid? I saw that there's about 13 some million.
The state aid, it's later in the year. I didn't bring it with, I had it with me too. The largest portion of our state aid comes in December. So it literally December 15th, I think, is the normal time for the 12 million. I forget, I think 11.5 million it might be of the, but the temporary aim that comes in, that might come mid-year, maybe a piece of it, and then later on another piece. But that's up to the state to, you know, we're at the
Okay.
mercy of the state.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a schedule
Guess
public.
I'm not surprised.
Any other questions from the council?
Trivial, but yes, Council President.
Councilmember Favreau.
Looking at water fund expenses, under miscellaneous salaries, I'm just curious what those are. And
Miscellaneous.
I've only
salaries.
noted it because we're already at 67% remaining. If it's not permanent or temporary.
Oh, no, miscellaneous, that's the various payouts for, could be, allowances, what's the various pays? Well, I mean, it could be uniform allowances, could be,
Uniform is down below.
no, but I mean, as far as it's a pay, it's something related to payroll. There's probably 6, 7 items in that category. So I'd have to get back to you if I'll give you a specific breakdown of what lines up in there. I don't have the list here with me. Longevity goes in there. Yeah, there's, like I said, there's 6 or 7 items that are rolling through the payroll. Comp is another, yes.
Well, I want to thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. We'll be sending you an email with the questions, Mike, if that's helpful.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll take a few moments to rearrange the room a bit in order to have our public forum. We've already done the roll call.
Mhm.
I'll just, we'll do the public forum. I can do that. And then if you would take over under the presentation of agenda.
Sure.
And after each one, you ask for, is there a motion?
Okay.
And, I mean, I can write them down. It's just a case that I often restate it and say,
We have a motion, we have a second.
you know.
Any discussion on the?
We often say that the person who does it.
Gotcha. Yep.
So.
Okay.
Motion made by
Mhm.
Councilmember McLaren, seconded by,
Okay.
it
Okay.
helps public record wise in case she misses it.
Yes. Okay. Who are all these people?
It's Central, what's his face is brought,
Ruben? Oh, because he's,
because the
regular.
resolution is on.
Oh,
on the agenda.
nobody came to the other one. Okay.
No, I didn't see a sign.
No.
Is that?
Yeah, we don't do that. Yeah, I haven't been doing that for 2 years.
Well, we did it the one time for, I forget what it was. We did do it once
It's a-
because
it's
we
a
were
first come,
expecting a
first
big,
served basis.
yeah.
That's why we're sitting in seats reserved for, reserved seats.
Maybe that's the guy who's running. Shut my mic off.
I don't know who that is. You?
Oh, no.
There are seats, there are reserved seats, I see. There are reserved seats I see that have been reserved. We also have blank seats up here, empty chairs. If anyone is interested in sitting, it would be helpful if you did not stay in the hallway. It distracts from the proceedings. At this point, we have a public forum on any agenda item. We have one ordinance and a number of resolutions. And I'm going to turn it over to our President Pro Tem. Oh, no, we don't. I'm sorry. If you are interested in speaking, please come forward, give your name and place of residence.
Marie Gavazzi, Fifth Avenue, Troy.
Is the mic on, Marie?
I don't know. Doesn't sound
Oh.
like it. It is? Marie Gavazzi, Fifth Avenue, Troy. You can't hear me?
No, that's mic is. Let's try that one.
Is this better?
Much better. Thank you. Yay.
Marie Gavazzi, Fifth Avenue, Troy. I just wanted to come and thank you for the award of the NIP funds for the downtown planters that are done by Troy and Bloom. I think it's a wonderful program. I think it's a great program for Troy in that there's a lot of bang for the buck that goes into it. So thank you once again.
Thank you for all you do, Marie, in planting
don't-
around Troy.
I don't do the planting. I just tell other people to do it.
Okay. Oh.
Hi, my name is Dara. I live on Second Street in District 6. And I'm also thanking you for approving the Osgood Neighborhood Greening Project through the NIP grants. That's excellent. It's been a project that we started last year as a neighborhood, and we're looking forward to doing it for another successful year. And I'm also up here to give a big shout out specifically to my council member, Greg Campbell Cohen, for taking an issue that many of the urban farmers identified as a failure in the the county sewer fee application to the broader, to all of the properties actually in the city of Troy. And I'm really grateful that this is getting resolved. So thank you so much. The solution that you've come up with is actually exceeds what my expectations were. So I really, really want to give a shout out to collaboration on this one. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sarah.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Echo Goff, and I'm a resident of the 5th District. My council person is Jonah Favreau. I'm a longtime proud resident of Troy and a local small business owner, and I'm here today to put some information into the record on the proposed passing of local law number 3 on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda.
Well,
For the finance
the-
meeting.
This is a finance meeting.
oh, this is the finance
Yeah.
part. Okay.
Can you save your comments?
Absolutely.
you. Thank you.
Apologies. Apologies.
Thank you.
I'll just send that there.
Does anyone else wish to address the council? If not, we'll move on with our agenda.
For ordinances, ordinance number 9, an ordinance authorizing and approving the filing of the City of Troy's application for funding pursuant to the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, the McKinney Act Emergency Shelter Grant Program, and the Home Investment Partnership Program, and designating the mayor as the authorized representative of the city for those purposes. Councilmember Di Lorenzo, Council President Steele, at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Struber and a second by Councilmember McKee. Discussion on the ordinance?
Is somebody from the administration available for a few questions? Constituents reached out with a little bit of, mostly just clarifying questions, not to take objection with the ordinance itself. One of the residents in D6 asked how the city determines which areas get street and sidewalk improvements through CDBG, and I was hoping you could help walk us through that.
We go through numerous neighborhood group meetings when we plan the 5-year consolidated planning process. So we meet with each neighborhood, we post public notices. And then based on all the input we get from the residents, because every single neighborhood comes out, every single neighborhood wants the projects. So we look at which one is actually the worst and start there and make our determination on who really needs it more and how it affects more people in general. And that's how HUD actually looks at it, is based on LMI people in a neighborhood that benefits more than just kind of regular neighborhoods.
Right. I follow. And then the second question is the same resident. They asked, what is the process for designing these projects, and how does the city determine the treatments each of these areas get?
I don't understand the question.
If we split up, the first one is just, what is the process for designing these projects on the city's end? Like how, once you've decided to do it, how do you go?
We
about it?
will, my department will go through and we'll draw up our proposals, and then we'll meet with the city engineer.
Okay.
Then we meet with the water department. So we have everybody involved in the process of how we're gonna do it and make sure that we're covered as far as water services and that we're not going to affect any of that stuff. And then the city engineer is the final sign off on our design.
Okay, and the last one, these are residents of South Troy, so they're kind of invested. A lot of folks have noticed striping happening in South Troy right now. Is that related to CDBG from unrelated?
Unrelated.
Okay. All right, I think that's it on my end. Thank you very much.
Carolyn, there's also, is there not a income,
It's based on the census tracts, the LMI areas. There's certain areas in the city. Unfortunately, well, luckily, but unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot of areas that don't qualify. But there are very few that will not be able to get the service.
my district never got it.
Nor mine. But I'm okay. I don't want sidewalks.
I do. No, thank you. Any other questions?
You're fine. You're fine. Stay here. Councilmember Campbell Cone, I just wanted you to know the striping is part of the milling and paving. That was striping that should have been done last year. The milling and paving, the RFP went out, we'll be solidifying that contract. The striping will continue over the summer. Okay,
And is Fourth Street included in that?
I'll take a look, but I would imagine so, but we'll take a look. Okay.
It does look like that's the plan, but
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
Uh, 7 ayes, 0 noes. The ordinance passes. On to resolutions. Resolution 50, a resolution proclaiming May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Troy, New York, by myself, Councilmember Spee McLaren. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Favreau and a second by Councilmember Di Lorenzo. Any discussion? I would just like to thank my colleagues on the council for agreeing to to this resolution. We had done it in the past, but I think it's so important now more than ever as I won't read the whole resolution, but I do want to take a couple parts of it because I know you probably don't have that in front of you. Maybe you were able to look at it online. Obviously, mental health is an essential part of our well-being and it impacts families, communities, individuals. 1 in 4 American adults experiences a mental health condition. And suicide is now the second leading cause of death in the age group of 10 to 24. I mean, think about that. It's an increase of 52% since 2000. 10-year-olds. And the mental health care system across America is in crisis, but it's especially in crisis in Troy and in our area. There's a desert of providers, and they come and go. They don't stay long. Folks establish themselves with someone, and then they disappear. And I think what happens a lot of times is that they don't go back. They don't seek out more help. So what this resolution does is urges all residents to educate themselves and others about mental health conditions, treatment options, and available resources. Luckily, telehealth is a very viable option right now, and I know a lot of people take advantage of it. I would encourage everyone to challenge the stigma by speaking respectfully about mental health conditions, about people who might be struggling, about judging people because of what might be a mental health condition, and creating safe and important or supportive environments, and having open conversations about it. It's here. it's here to stay. And I think, you know, using certain terminology maybe needs to stop. Saying things that make, you know, like something as simple as the word crazy, or, you know, the nut house or the crazy train, things like that. Even though I know when we approved Ozzy Osbourne, I did bring up crazy train, and I'm now regretting that a little bit. However, I think when used in the wrong context, it really sends a message that that kind of thing is okay. And I don't believe it is. And I'm hoping that, you know, the larger Troy community would also challenge those things when they hear them. So that's my spiel. On the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we have 7 yes and 0 no's. So the resolution passes. Resolution 51, resolution of Troy City Council scheduling a public hearing on proposed local law number 3 of 2026, establishing standards governing the city's use of automatic license plate readers, or ALPR systems. Councilmember McKee. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Campbell Cohen, a second by Councilmember Struber.
We need to fill in the blanks of this resolution. So I think we've
It's in there.
June 4th.
May 21st.
21st.
No, it's not. It can't be May 21st.
Okay.
No, you don't. want to.
Because we have so many committees.
Has to go through all the committees and then act on it.
Oh, the public hearing, I'm
Right,
sorry.
right.
Yes, correct.
No, it's June 4th. It should be June 4th at 5:30.
So we'll have to make an amendment.
Yeah, I guess so.
So do we have a motion for an amendment?
Motion.
Second.
So the motion would state that this public hearing would be on June 4th at 5 o'clock.
5:30.
Oh, I'm sorry, 5:30. So we have a motion by Councilmember Fabro, a second by Councilmember Campbell Cohen. On the amendment, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's 7 yeses and 0 nos. Now on the amended resolution 51. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that's 7 yes and 0 no. Resolution 51 passes. Number 52, a resolution appointing James Brent Mason as city marshal for the city of Troy. Council President Steele. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Struber, a second by Councilmember McKee. All in favor, discussion on the? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have 7 ayes and 0 nos. Resolution 52 passes. And resolution 53, a resolution appointing Commissioner of Deeds for the city of Troy. Council President Steele. On the motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilmember Struber, a second by Councilmember Fabro. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 7 yes and 0 no. Resolution 53 is adopted. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
That means we are adjourned.
We'll take just a real break, or we want to go right into it? Are we okay?
Small break.
5 minutes.
Small break,
Just a few moments, please.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
5 minutes.
5-minute break?
Okay. The land bank.
Oh, we're gonna do that next.
Yep.
I know, it's Thursday, Friday, so it's.
I couldn't remember. And we have a special presentation this evening. We have a special presentation this evening by the Troy Community Land Bank. I would ask you to introduce yourselves because I have no voice.
Yes, my name is Brad Lewis. I'm the Executive Director of the Troy Community Land Bank. And this is Paul Donnelly, our Director of Operations. So we'll be real brief because I know you guys have a lot to get through today. But per the city code, we have to deliver our annual report to you, and this is our day to do it. So We put together a little slideshow. We also provided the city council with a book like we did last year. I'll briefly introduce the land bank and we'll get through the slideshow and you guys can get on to your regular meeting. The Troy Community Land Bank is established to deal with vacant buildings in the city of Troy. It's a public authority. There's 4 in the city, the LDC, the CRC, the IDA, and the land bank. So we operate as a discrete component unit of the city of Troy. So we're audited just like every other public authority. And then the books wrap into the city's final, report that they deliver to the state. So we fill out a parish report every year, just like those other public authorities. We deal in residential vacant buildings, and our board has charged us to focus solely on affordable housing. So just mentioning that. You can slide. So this is our annual report. We delivered our annual report to our board March 18th. So that's why it says that, just for anybody reading it. I'll read our mission statement just to get through that. Our core purpose is to redevelop vacant, abandoned, and underutilized properties through community partnerships and strategic planning. Our goal is to encourage economic growth, long-term sustainability, and new opportunities for all of Troy's residents, businesses, so we can build a stronger neighborhood and enjoy a greater quality of life. So obviously, I introduced the staff already. We have a board of directors. We have 10 board of directors right now, and we have 1 vacant seat from the Lansingburg School District, which we would love to fill if they want to appoint one. Our board's appointed 4 seats by the city council, 4 by the mayoral's office, 1 from each city school district, and 1 is elected by the majority vote of the board members. So it's appointed by the majority of the board. On our website, we have listed who has appointed whom, and I think when their term expires, but I did email Sue and let her know your appointments as they expire this year. So part of our report is to mention our corporation councils, Whiteman, Osterman, and Hanna. We are audited by Bonadil Group, which I think the city also uses. And part of our report is to tell you what board members attended what meetings. So that's in your book there. And then what committee who is on each committee. So I won't mention every name, but the committees, and that's also on our website at troycommunitylandbank.org if anybody wants to look at any of that. So we'll get on to our accomplishments for this year, which I was pretty proud of many things. The first of which is we finished 791 River Street the year before, and we were able to finally sell it. And it's a very modern building, and it was something we inherited. I think it took quite a while, and then Paul and I came on the scene, and almost within a year it was sold, and people live there now. Restricted 100% affordable for the second and third floor apartments, and I believe there's a permit on the window to build out the commercial space. So that's exciting. We did a bunch of stabilization to all the projects or properties that we owned last year, and which led to many removal of red X's on the various properties in 2025. So as you see in the one, we actually had rotten floor joists, and the other one, we built a brand new deck out back, and we were able to make it so that it was safe for the firefighters to go inside and leave. And in the case of the building on the right, there was no back deck, and there were holes so if you'd walk out, the firefighter would fall maybe 2 or 3 stories, and that's not safe. So that's why the red X was on the building. When we made it safe, then they were able to remove it. So sometimes it's as simple as that to make a building safe for people to actually work on. And so this is just a picture of one of our red X removal days. And then we started 3 large projects this year. And of course, this is a 2025 report. So I have to tell you about everything that happened last year. Even though some of these projects are done now, I'm telling you that we started these 3 large projects, 871 River Street, which is now completed, and we moved our offices there, and 834 River Street, which many of you attended the ribbon cutting there. And we're almost wrapping up 3340 6th Avenue, but we started those last year. So less than a year turnaround on many projects. We did a brand new foundation at 32 Glen Avenue, and we've gotten a grant this year to fix that looking forward completely and then sell it to an owner-occupied, affordable homeowner. We collaborated with Habitat for Humanity at 7911 13 Park Avenue, and I believe there was an event today I'll let Paul talk about.
Sure. As our council president knows, and a few others in the room along with the mayor, This morning, Habitat for Humanity unveiled these 4 new parcels, brand new homes. People are ready to move in, very happy and excited. Lots of local people showed up. How this all got started is 3 of the 4 properties were land bank properties. We made a deal with Habitat, along with the city providing ARPA funds to finish the project. And we have 4 brand new homeowners that are really, really happy people right now. So thank you.
That's great.
Now, last year we did 13 facade program projects, which were just mini grants that we executed on behalf from the state through the land bank. I should note that the land bank itself can't use our funds for private citizens' property, but we can execute grants for the benefit of other people, which you'll see a little later. But we were able to do 13 projects where we're maybe painting the building or repairing the vinyl siding or the soffit in the case of the one building there. One of the facade programs was an accessibility ramp that we had put in over at 33706 Ave. We also did one at 33616 6th Avenue. And then we collaborated with the Historic Albany, donate doors. We collaborated with the firefighters to do trainings at 32 Glen Avenue. This is obviously before the foundation went in, but they would do artificial trainings. They might get the hose live with water, but not leak in the building. And then rather just so the firefighters can actually drag the heavy hose through a real building where they won't cause any harm to the building. I participated in a Senate roundtable to discuss housing and affordability in New York State. Paul and I did a lead education. We're certified lead renovators. If anybody needs assessments, I guess we can tell you how it's done. We're current on all Paris filings. We've conducted various neighborhood meetings throughout the city to talk about the repair program that we're launching this year. And part of the annual report has to be what we sold and what we bought and who we bought and sold from and to. So that's the next slide there. And so we sold 6 buildings last year, and those are the people. It's listed in your report there. I'll go over the financials real quick. We had $1 million ARPA award, and I know that at the end of 26, we have to spend all that money. At 2024, at the end of the year, we spent $961,000, and the final $39,000 we spent in 2025. It was simple enough to just tell you exactly who we spent it on, what we spent it on, and where it went to. It's, part of an Excel document that we keep so that the comptroller can reconcile that at the end of the year. We operate on 2 grants mainly. One's an operational grant to cover our overhead. That's how we allocate that money. And then we have a grant that we just were awarded for $1.925 million to fix 3 buildings, to do the pre-development work, acquire a building, and to do a repair program for $500,000 for the citizens. We'll move to the final. Yep. So our financial statement. Now, of course, this asterisk is here at the printing of the book. They were the rough draft financials. So the actual final draft's not much different. In fact, I think most of the numbers are exactly the same. But we put an asterisk there to say you can go to troycommunitylandbank.org and go to the reports page to see exactly these numbers from our auditors, Bonadio. But basically, our cash grew $350,000. The value of our property grew about the same amount of money, and our net position for the land bank is about $1.6 million. That means free. If you sold and liquidated everything, that's the value of the land bank itself. Our revenues obviously were largely increased by doing some of the rehabs we were doing, and our net income went up substantially to $821,000 last year. Now we have to list our current properties. Those are the ones we own. That's again on our website. And then the final page is our goals for 2026. And we're going to invest that $1.3 million into the rehabs at the 3 properties that we own. We just launched this week a $500,000 repair program for owner-occupied homeowners to fix their homes for code violations and things like that. And we're really hoping we can construct 13 new homes with the Move in New York program. We have a call next week because we've been moved to the next stage with that. And that's been about a 6-month process so far. So that's what we're looking forward to. And we're open to any questions. And again, we thank you guys for taking the time to listen to us.
Any questions?
Council President.
Councilmember Favreau.
Really quick, because Well, first, thank you for this, very comprehensive and easy to follow along. And I did take a look at the new program that you launched and it sounds really awesome. So anybody watching or listening to this, make sure you check out their website, and the tool that you have to see if you qualify is really easy to follow. You mentioned constructing 13 new homes. Where are those going to be?
Right. So in November of last year, there was a resolution put out by the city council to basically tell New York State that you approve of the Move in New York application. The 13 locations, possible locations, I'll try my best to remember them, but there's 4 or 5 potential builds on Fifth Ave, 155th Ave, I think it is, the old Haskell School. I think it might be 6th Avenue. 6th Avenue. There's one on St. Vincent's. There's one on Tyler Street. Maybe two on Tyler Street. 2 on Mann Avenue. 1 on Erie Street. And these are all vacant lots that the city owns that, the city is looking to transfer to the land bank so that we can execute this program.
Thank you.
Of course.
Council President.
Councilmember Campbell Cohen.
First of all, I just wanted to thank you guys. Like John, I find this very easy to follow, and it seems like no matter how you slice things, things are moving in a really positive direction with the land bank. There have been 2 questions here from constituents about the repair program for owner-occupied homes. John mentioned that there's a tool on the website, and obviously that's going to be more comprehensive, but just for a moment, could you share like what kinds of things you expect that to be used for and what would make someone qualify or not, just so that they have a sense here?
Gotcha. Yeah. For the people viewing at home or the people here today. So the repair program is for homeowners with households of varying size. That's not the important factor, but the 120% AMI for that household is the restrictive income level. They can't make more than that level. And we have that level listed on our website, troycommunitylandbank.org/repair-program, or there's a button at the top of the page you can click, and in there it tells you what those numbers are for your household size, and it defines what a household is. The repairs to the owner-occupied homeowners' homes are supposed to be things like code violations, life safety issues, issues with accessibility. Maybe somebody's aging in place and their stairs are breaking, handrails are breaking, foundations are bad, heating systems are on the fritz. Those sort of things. Roofs are leaking. That we're really trying to make sure. Again, our core mission is to fight the vacant building problem in the city. So if we can play offense by fixing problems that are going to inevitably lead to a vacant building, that's our goal in executing this program. It's largely determined by the state what we can do. And their point in making it more of these life safety code violation issues was so that people didn't end up becoming removed from their home and they were able to stay in those homes. That kind of disqualifies cosmetic things. Like if you don't like the tile in your bathroom, but your tile's fine, it's not really intended to be for that. So if we had one application and it was just to replace the tile because there was like black mold in between it, I think then probably our board and internally it would score in our rubric. We have a rubric and rules and how many points you get for each thing. It could score as a thing that might be financed or paid for, but the point of it is not to do cosmetic fixes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Here.
The income levels? The income levels were determined by New York State. So that's where they sit, just in case you had that question.
And 110 AMI is pretty high.
120 AMI. So
Okay.
just to say, a single family home, owner occupied, has to be owner occupied, is 97,560. So, I mean, I think plenty of people qualify at that level, and it goes up to like, if you have 5 people in a home, it's 150,000 is your max income of your household. So if it's a couple with 3 kids, it's 150,000 is the max they can make.
And last question about this, especially on like the cross streets in South Troy, a lot of folks have asked about sidewalks, whether that qualifies. Do you know off the top of your head whether?
Yes, I think that they do qualify. The issue is whether we're doing like a stretch of sidewalks, like a public works project versus fixing somebody in front of their home. So there's a distinction of what they're trying to accomplish.
Okay, Thank you. And then last one, and then I'll move off, is just for rental property. I think for some folks, this just seems like a new thing for, it's outside of the scope of what people imagine a land bank to be doing. And so
It must be owner occupied
it's owner.
and less than 4 units.
Okay.
Are you talking about our rental property?
For your rental
Yes.
properties.
So-
Yeah.
So there are in the state law for land banks, it enables the land bank to be landlords or owners of. So most municipalities or foreclosing governmental units will transfer their properties as they tax foreclose them right to the land bank itself, which usually comes with a person that lives inside of it. Typically, they're not evicted by the foreclosing governmental unit. They're just transferred to the land bank. So because that problem existed, I believe the intention was to allow the land bank to let that person stay there, which they had to give them the power to lease properties. So for instance, at 871 River Street, we own the building, we rehab the building, and we occupy the commercial space, but there's 2 residential units there. So there was 2 options. We're enabled by legislation to rent them, or we could sell it and rent it back from the person we sold it to. Now, the land bank's position and the board's position was that by bringing in these rental units, we're able to use that money to stabilize both the neighborhoods, but also stabilize more buildings in different vacant buildings that we own, and also stabilize operations. For context, our insurance is probably like $75,000 a year, just because of the vacant lots and the fact that people could break into buildings, fall through buildings, that sort of thing. There's high operational costs, and we do not get any money from the city itself. We're funded fully by the state, and we're just a public authority that we pass through those state funds to the city.
Okay. Gotcha. I think that does answer the question. Well, thank you very much for your time. And again, you guys are doing great work over here, and it's, the data doesn't lie here. So thanks so much for all you do.
Any other questions? Thank you both. I know I speak for all of us. We really, really appreciate the fine work you're doing. It's affordable housing, near and dear to my heart, but owner occupied. I mean, that's one step beyond. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
This time, we will have a public forum on agenda items. Anyone wishing to speak on any item on the agenda is asked to come forward, give your name and place of residence.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Frank Mabin, North Central Community and Solidarity Group CEO and Director. And of course, we're here to talk about resolution number 49, which our city councilwoman, Shakol Schuber, certainly put in for us. And we're here for that. And we just want to say a few things in support of that. So we're going to start with the bishop from our area. He's the president of all the Black pastors in our area, in the North Central area, in the city of Troy. He's Bishop Macklin, and I'm going to let him come right now and just start this off, and we'll just run it through. Bishop Macklin.
Thank you, Brother Frank, and to the council, president. I'd like to present a proclamation to Mr. Frank Mabin. Certificate of Achievement from the Bishop, Dr. Norman R. Macklin, New Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church founder and pastor in the city of Troy, 313 10th Street, across from Stewart's, we usually say. This is to congratulations to Mr. Frank Mabin, Executive Director, North Central Community Organization, Solidarity Group. He's our church outreach coordinator. True leadership is defined not by authority, but by the courage to serve. Your organization embodies a civic virtue that binds our neighborhoods together ensuring that no one stands alone in time of need. It is profound honor to recognize the North Central Community and Solidarity Group for their distinguished services to our community. For many, many years, this organization has acted as a vital catalyst for change, addressing the needs of many with the hands of few dedicated people. Awarded this day on the 7th day of May, 2026 at City Hall, Troy, New York. I am Bishop Dr. Macklin, Mrs. Picola Macklin, Church Assistant, and Ms. Olympia Stroud, Assistant Church Clerk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just want to ask that everybody in the room, North Central, stand please, all of us, stand up. This is not just Frank Maben, this is the North Central Community and Solidarity Group. So all of us, all right, and there's plenty more. It's a long night, but we're here. I have another one that I want to read to you. I'll get through this. Broke my glasses through this. This one is from the office of our District Attorney, Mary Pat Donnelly, Rensselaer County District Attorney's Office. Certificate of Rex. This is just on, so as soon as we heard that Shacole put this out for us, and we just kind of let people know that it's out there, he said, Frank, get in here. We got something for you. Go down there and say this. Certificate of Recognition. This award is given to the North Central Community Solidarity Group for your efforts to build a strong community for youth and families in Troy. On this 7th day of May, 2026, Mary Pat Donnelly, District Attorney, Troy. For all of us. This one is from the Rensselaer County Reentry Task Force, Assistance, Guidance, and Support. May 7, 2026. To whom it may concern. On behalf of the Rensselaer County Reentry Task Force, I am writing to formally recognize and express our deepest gratitude for the outstanding contributions the North Central Community Solidarity Group, under the tutelage of Frank Maben, has made to the city of Troy, New York. As a community partner, Frank has collaborated with our office on many occasions to enhance the positive path for individuals with justice involvement as they navigate their journey following incarceration. Frank and the North Central Community Solidarity Group share our commitment of creating and maintaining a supportive, compassionate, and nurturing environment while simultaneously promoting community safety. We are truly grateful for their dedication and enthusiasm to the city of Troy, New York. Sincerely, Heidi Renaud, Coordinator, Rensselaer County Reentry Task Force. Statement for the Troy City Council honoring Frank Maben and the North Central Community and Solidarity Group. Council President, members of the council, and Mr. Maben. On behalf of the Troy Public Library, I'd like to add our voice to tonight's recognition of Frank Maben and the North Central Community Solidarity Group. For years, Frank and his collaborators have done the kind of neighborhood work that makes residents feel more at home in Troy. We are proud to have supported some of these efforts through our public library resources. Our staff are always happy to see Frank make use of the printers at our main branch because we know those flyers and sign-up forms are a small but important part of his efforts in North Central. The Solidarity Group has borrowed the pickleball set from our library of things more than once for their public park activities. We're grateful for it because every use of the resources makes the next use more likely. Word travels and neighbors notice, and we see our work paying off. That's the cycle of generosity Frank and other community organizations bring into the Troy's neighborhoods. What we give to them come back through the patronage and civic investment of the residents they reach. We're proud to be part of it. That's the piece we want to underline tonight. When the council recognizes people who organize their own communities and supports the institutions that help them do it, the result is what has helped to nurture a Troy that looks out for its kids and shows up for its neighbors. We're grateful to Frank, to the Solidarity Group, and to the council for honoring this work. One more. This one. So we also have, you probably hear me. So we have a list also of like board members. Okay. So we have a list of like board members and, bylaws and everything that come with 501c3. So we've been blessed, right? So we first want to give, our thanks and praise going to our Lord and Savior, Jesus the Christ. I'm telling you, without him, none of this. This is one of our board members, Mr. Beejan. He's our head board member. George Beejan, he ran the former business known as the Johnstone HVAC for years. He certainly, he sold the business a few years back, but he certainly owns the building. It's probably it is definitely the most opportunistic place right now in the city of Troy, especially for location. And so we're looking to do great things with that. He holds on to it, and that's a part of what we're doing going forward. One second. Okay. My name is Mike Toomey. I'm a lifelong Troy resident, local business owner, and board member with the North Central Community Solidarity Group. I just wanted to say thank you to the city of Troy for recognizing the organization tonight and for the continued support the city has shown the North Central neighborhood over the years. North Central is a neighborhood that has faced challenges for a long time, but it's also a neighborhood full of families, resilient people, and a strong sense of community. I've had the opportunity to help sponsor and participate in events with the group over the years, trunk or treats, basketball programs, back to school events, and other community outreach. And what stands out to me is the consistency. People showing up year after year because they genuinely care about the neighborhood and the kids growing up in it. And a lot of that leadership starts with Frank Maven. Thank you, Mike. Frank and I actually met over 30 years ago under some pretty unusual circumstances when we were much younger and both going through some different chapters in life. I don't think either one of us imagined we'd one day be standing together at the Troy City Council meeting talking about community improvement. But I think that says something important about growth and what can happen when people decide to dedicate themselves to helping others. So thank you again to the city of Troy, to everyone involved with the organization, and to the residents of North Central who continue to fight for their community every day. Thank you. And so that is just a little piece of what we've been doing over the 11 years. And thank you, Shakol, for after, getting to it. She's been working with us throughout. Thank you, all of the community. I just want to allow, of course, my staff, they're all present again, all stand again. Come on. Come on, y'all. I like just a second for our president. All right, I'm the CEO, but here's our president. He's Karen McCauley. Just share a little piece of what we got. So, McCauley, please just.
All I can say is thank you for the belief in us and supporting us. It's much appreciated. Again, thank you.
Hi, Council. I was here before and I didn't start off too good, so I wrote some notes. My name is Priscilla Hilton McCauley. I live in District 2. My address is 15111 Street. I am a member of NCCSG. I would like to thank the council for recognizing our small but mighty work that we do in the community. We have insurance professionals, paralegal assistants, self-taught cooks, New York State workers, medical assistants, office workers, all a part of our group. And what we all have in common is the love of Troy and community and the people. We are all at different stages in our life. Some empty nesters, some wanting to be empty nesters. We are in it to help the moms and dads who are falling short with funds or with advice. A lot of times there's moms raising kids, no father, or the father just isn't there. And some of the kids are left to figure it out on their own. And that's what we want to help with. As I said before, we're not a big organization and we don't have 500 hats to give out, but you know, if we could, we would. And we just want to help all the kids to divert them away from the illegal activity and the gun violence and be productive citizens in our town. We've done Easter egg hunt, Halloween trick or treat, activities for back to school. We've collaborated with a couple different groups. UNI, which is a group from Albany, but they United Neighbors Initiative, and they came and cleaned up Geneva Pompey Park for free. And so I just want to thank our members and I want to thank the council for recognizing us and hope that our presence makes a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to acknowledge a few in the room. So like she said, we picked up like quite a few people for right here. Mel, if you stand up. That's Rob Mel Roundtree. He's our new mentoring and motivational speaker. Right here, Devon, if you stand, please. This is Devon Diego, who's a service specialist. And Julie, if you stand. That's our cook. If you ever come with us and we have an opportunity to eat some good food, all right. Ruth Ann, if you stand, this is Ruth Ann. Got shot 7 times in the city of Troy. He's still living, and we're going to try to make things for him and his family. And so that's what we're saying. Standing behind here is they will understand that for just a second. That's one of our 2025 graduates, Diana. And I just want you to see so that we're wearing these shirts. The first Black and Latino Impact Center here in the city of Troy, located at 68 Dow. You'll see a lot of things to spring into action and put a lot of things in action there. One of the big things that we do is we found out that our kids really didn't have an identity. They didn't even know who they were. So that's what you see on the back of our shirts is I am. All right. And so what I am is I am somebody. I am a homeowner, I am a graduate, I am North Central, and we give them an identity. They get to say who they are. And that's the beginning of who they can become. For them to become them, have a purpose and know they have to first know who they are. And that's what we're giving them, an identity. And that's what we're hoping that y'all will all help us to do and moving forward. And I think I've got it. If anybody else from North Central right now just want to say anything, I'm moving forward. You sure? Come on.
My name is Kalila Macon. I just want to acknowledge my son is a graduate from this year as well. He graduated, he actually is what is it called? A chaplain for EOC right now. And he's in college. He's 18. He couldn't be here because he had to work, but yeah, I just want to acknowledge him. Thank you.
Absolutely. We just want, that's another one of our in 2025, and he's a chaplain, he's moving forward. So outstanding that, if all are, just one more time, North Central, stand up.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Do you want to bring the whole group up and we'll do it?
Please.
I just want to say thank you to the council for recognizing one of our church members. Thank you very much.
I'm not. You can if you want. I think it's Shakol
Who's taking her picture?
and Asha.
Okay.
You're all welcome, Joe. Oh, hey. I'm sorry. Please. I do not want to leave this out. Wow, Joe, get up here. I also want you to know that this guy right here, this is Joe of J&K. He owns and please just recognize Joe of J&K. So we're getting it done. Thank you, Joe. Getting this picture. Oh, good. I do. What's going on? Thank you.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you could remove this podium.
At this time.
We're still in comment now?
Folks, we'd like to continue the public forum. Is there anyone else who would like to come up and speak on any agenda item?
Good evening, council members. Like to tonight quickly just speak as mayor and also resident here in the city of Troy. Tonight I rise in strong opposition to the legislation that would severely restrict the Troy Police Department's use of automated license plate reader technology, commonly known as ALPRs. This proposal is not a thoughtful reform. It's beyond reckless, it's dangerous, it's impractical, and it undermines the public safety in our city. I want to speak directly about several sections of this legislation because the residents of Troy deserve to understand exactly what this proposal would do. Under Section 3A, ALPR use would be limited only to vehicles registered to an individual subject to an outstanding felony arrest warrant. Think about that for a moment. That means if a vehicle is connected to a violent domestic incident, a shots fired call, a stalking case, an assault, or even a sexual abuse investigation, our officers could be prohibited from utilizing this technology unless the suspect already has an outstanding felony warrant. That is simply not how policing works in the real world, folks. Police officers responding to an incident do not have the luxury of knowing at the outset whether charges will ultimately rise to the level of a felony. Investigations evolve. Facts develop over time. This legislation creates unrealistic and dangerous restrictions that would tie the hands of law enforcement during critical moments. Sections 3A through 3E collectively narrow the use of ALPR technology so dramatically that it would effectively strip our Troy Police Department of one of the most important investigative tools available in modern policing. This proposal would prevent officers from using proven technology to investigate common and serious crimes, including larceny, criminal mischief, property crimes, domestic violence incidents, assaults, and other offenses that directly impact the quality of life and the safety of our residents. I also want to address Section 5A. This particular section requires all captured license plate data to be permanently deleted within 48 hours. This provision is completely unrealistic and deeply harmful to criminal investigations. Many investigations take days, weeks, or even months to fully develop. In some cases, victims do not even report crimes until 48 hours have already passed. Under this proposal, potentially critical evidence connected to suspect vehicles could already be permanently deleted before investigators even have the opportunity to review it. Why would we place these arbitrary restrictions on evidence that could help solve crimes, identify suspects, recover stolen vehicles, or protect victims? This does not help public safety. It undermines it. I also have very serious concerns regarding Section 7A. This section attempts to create a new cause of action against the city of Troy, where damages would not even have to be proven and where claims of mental pain and suffering could expose taxpayers to significant and unnecessary liability. This section is practically an open invitation for frivolous litigation against our city and against our taxpayers. Additionally, this legislation infringes upon the authority of the mayor and Chief DeWolf to supervise and regulate the Troy Police Department, raising more serious legal and constitutional concerns about whether this proposal could even withstand judicial scrutiny. At a time when we should all be working together, supporting our police officers and giving them the tools they need to keep neighborhoods safe, This legislation sends exactly the wrong message. You cannot claim to support public safety while simultaneously stripping our law enforcement of the technology they rely on to solve crimes and protect residents. Since taking office, our administration has invested in modern policing tools and proactive public safety initiatives, and the results speak for themselves. Since taking office, violent crime down 23% compared to last year and 27% compared to the 5-year average. Property crime down 13% year over year. Burglaries, motor vehicle thefts, shootings, and shots fired incidents have all declined significantly. Those improvements don't happen by accident. They happen because our police department has been empowered to use every lawful tool available to keep our community safe here in Troy. I want to thank the district attorney, Mary Pat Donnelly, and Chief DeWolf for speaking out against this proposal and for their continued commitment to protecting the residents of Troy. This is about protecting our families, our seniors, our children, our neighborhoods, and our business owners. I urge all of you to please reconsider this legislation, listen to the experts in law enforcement, the professionals, and stop advancing policies that weaken public safety and put our residents at great risk. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to address the council?
Hello. Hello, my name is Emma Delapia. I live in Troy on Euclid Ave, and I also want to address the local law establishing standards and governing the city use of automatic license plate reader systems. I love the proposed legislation. I think it's great. Though I do share some concerns with the mayor over Section 7, seeing as it requires a person who has been harmed by this law to retain counsel or go to court in order to resolve this. I think you should consider stricter penalties against any city official who violates this law that don't necessarily require a citizen to sue the city. Perhaps the director of an agency violating this law should be fired or removed from any city capacity. I also love the 48-hour data retention. I think that's a great idea. And I'd like to reiterate, I don't think our civil liberties should end where the mayor or cops thinks it makes it more difficult for them to resolve crimes. Our civil liberties exist for a reason. Stalking people because you're scared one of them might potentially commit a crime is morally unacceptable. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Stephen Maple, South Troy. I think it's really interesting that the mayor is now interested in listening to experts when, for many, many other subject matters just easily brushed aside. I'd also just like to say that I think it's interesting that, lots of concerns about this potential legislation from the mayor. And yet we, they're still assiduously refusing to turn over any sort of evidence and documentation to this body, to the public. So I think it's very rich to be making demands on this body when they have not even complied for simple data requests and assurances. And it simply have not even acknowledged or addressed the many real concerns. If we're going to talk about stalking, we have documented evidence of police officers using this technology to stalk illegally. They're using it for their own purposes for stalking people they wish to stalk. So we haven't heard anybody address that whatsoever or even acknowledge it. So I think it just a little bit of balance here is it's an interesting way to see this unfold. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Deirdre, District 4, and I'm here to comment also on the introduction of local law number 3. I just want to say thank you to the City Council for listening to our concerns and taking this actionable step towards a safer Troy for everyone. I do believe that we could go further, but I kind of want to skip over that because I want to address what the mayor has just said, essentially. Just last week on May 1st, the Dayton, Ohio Police Department announced an indefinite suspension of their Flock ALPR system. The police department announced this after learning that Flock had lied to them about who they were sharing data with. Dayton Police Department discovered this when they noticed a higher than expected level of data sharing this past fall and looked into it. They found several thousand instances of data being shared for immigration purposes without their permission. They also found that because of the way Flock shares audited information, they have no way of knowing what data has been accessed by these federal agencies. They just know that they have access to it, all of it. As a concerned community member, I am repeating our demands for an audit. Who has had access to Troy's data in the past 5 years? Has the national lookup feature been turned back on? ICE and Border Patrol have been reported frequently in the region for the past week. Has our community data been shared with these agencies? We demand to know because we don't know. There has not been an audit and there has been no transparency. I understand that the council is not necessarily responsible for calling for an audit. I hope that the mayor would consider it, as we have been asking for months now, and the police department. The administration and TPD have ignored all of our requests for transparency. If they would like community support to keep ALPRs, perhaps they should provide evidence that the system has actually contributed to crime reduction here. Evidence and not percentages without citations, as we keep getting. But the most chilling thing is that when we do get audits, we will not know exactly what has been done with our data. And this is deeply troubling. A company offering comprehensive safety services doesn't actually have the tools to know exactly what data has been accessed and by whom. This is unacceptable and should be to any law enforcement agency. I keep going back to what Councilmember Campbell Cohen said on March 19th, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I think he said if the police don't need a warrant to enter somebody's home, they would probably solve more crime. But they do, and it's for a reason. Mass surveillance isn't the solution to solving crime. There are intentional restrictions designed in our Constitution that restrict police to warrants, and this legislation is following that example. I also just want to add one more thing, that the city of Aurora, Colorado just settled a $1.9 million lawsuit with a mother who was pulled over by police for after a false ALPR identification. Her 4 daughters under the age of 18 were held at gunpoint by this police department during this mistake, and then they realized that they made a mistake and they just let them go. $1.9 million is a lot of money. So if you're thinking about lawsuits, there are also things like that to consider. I still hope that the mayor is willing to listen to our concerns, yet the declaration of emergency is still going on, and I urge the council to continue working towards legislating long-term protections for this community. And I urge the mayor, TPD, and the DA to consider the concerns and the rights of the public in regards to this surveillance technology. Please end the emergency and remove the Flock cameras. And I support the passing of a new law restricting the use of ALPRs. I do think we could have a little more definition on public oversight, who is reviewing audits, who is in charge of that, like the public, perhaps. But again, we can talk about that the next meeting, perhaps. Thank you.
Hopefully I'm not pushing these mics off. My name is Silva Menard and I live on 5th Ave between Federal and Jacob. Thank you all for being here tonight and for serving the public. I'd like to address a couple things. One of the points that came up specifically to me was liability. And I think it's really important that we address the fact that our Flock contract actually states that the city is liable 100% for any failures of their system. And we are seeing out of different studies and reporting that regarding audits, that up to 38% of flock data is flawed and resulting in things like the issue in Aurora. We have a fellow, not sure where he is, but every time he drives through a town, he's on a hot list because police entered a 0 and a O. And both of those possible plates are on a hot list. So he keeps getting pulled over day after day after day after day after day. He's white. If he's black, he's going to be in more harm. So our liability, Aurora, almost $2 million. Our liability is huge, and we need to address that. The mayor signed a contract without council authorization, without that oversight that is required, that gives every single taxpayer that full liability. It gets passed on to us. We're the ones that are footing the bills. And so when we're looking at professionals, there are lots of professionals who have the knowledge and the resources. Military, military folks who have worked with Palantir, that's using the same technology, that are saying, look, this is dangerous. And they're showing up and they're speaking publicly about this. Having had professional history with this, we need to be talking to them because they're warning us. This is looking for pattern of life. This is not safety, it's surveillance. We need to be talking about that a lot more. Thank you for this.
Test. Hi, all. My name is Callisto Hess, and I live downtown at 471 Fulton. I'll keep this really brief. I appreciate your good faith efforts to address many of the concerns that our community have voiced about the flock ALPR cameras, but I do not think your legislation goes far enough in remediating many of our concerns. Specifically, one of my main concerns with the flock cameras are their poor security standards. I'm currently a cybersecurity professional, hold a master's degree in cybersecurity, and formerly worked as a vulnerability researcher. So I do know a little bit about what I'm talking about. It is my professional opinion that hacking the flock cameras over the internet is trivially easy. Gaining access to the footage on these specific cameras with the ability to either upload new footage or delete existing footage is frankly very simple. Somebody with either rudimentary cybersecurity knowledge or jailbroken AI model like ChatGPT could perform the necessary hack without much difficulty. This directly endangers the people of Troy and undermines public safety. Hosting what security researcher Ben Jordan refers to as Netflix for stalkers on our street is not in our best interest. Thank you.
Good evening, council. I'm Joshua Michael King. I'm new to your community, so thank you for the work that you've been doing thus far. I live on Tyler Street in South Troy. First and foremost, please don't forget about us. I'll just leave it at that. I'll also say that communities can and will take care of themselves when and if they have the opportunities, the resources, and the supports. I won't go on about myself. You can feel free to Google me about my resume, but there are a lot of experts in the room. You're not alone in what it is that you're trying to do here. I see what you're trying to do here, see what the police are trying to do here. Really takes building bridges. Right now, those bridges are not being built. They're being divided now more than ever, not even just in this city, but across the country. I've lived in more than half of the counties in this state. The issues are the same. We have a laundry list of them. The solutions are not being brought to the table. And when they are, they're not necessarily being entertained. So really take a look and examine the need for this system, particularly the amount of money that it costs to operate. I will say that in the past couple of days since I've called the police department and city hall, I see officers on my street. I see them now walking. I see them parking right in front of that damn crack house. So those kinds of moves and movements are what needs to happen so that our communities and our neighborhoods can stay safe and sound. It empowers me to speak up when I do see these things. And trust me, I have no issues speaking up. It seems as though a lot of folks don't have any issues speaking up. They just need a platform to do so. So I again applaud you for the work that you're doing. I understand these things from all levels, but first and foremost, I'm a tax-paying citizen. And quite frankly, our opinions matter way more than the government. And that's really all I got. I hope to choose this as a longer term placement after my assignment is finished, and hopefully be able to apply all of this experience and expertise that I have. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Bree Harrington, and I'm technically in the 4th district, but the boundary for the 3rd and 4th districts actually runs right down my street, so I'm kind of a cusper. First off, I just want to wish everyone on the city council a happy Mother's Day. Us mothers do a lot, and it can be a thankless job, so it's nice to be acknowledged every now and then. Maybe for some of you, the fate of motherhood was anticipated. Maybe for some of you, it was an unexpected blessing. But make no mistake about it, you're all moms now. Constantly having to clean up messes, having to use your mom patience, using momisms like money doesn't grow on trees. And of course, the classic setting rules based on logic and wisdom, only to be branded the bad guy. Now, even though I too am a mom, these are things I don't know much about because honestly, my kid is like an angel. I can't say whether it's nature or nurture issue with you guys, but your kids are real delinquents. I know that's a big no-no, talking shit about other moms' kids, but sometimes it has to be said. Like, all of us other moms have been cringing from the sidelines, shaking our heads at the bad behavior. They're just running amok, tearing up the neighborhood, making reckless decisions without getting your permission, taking money out of your purse when you're not looking without so much as a receipt, mouthing off, telling lies. And I get it. You've tried to put your foot down. You've set the consequence of taking away their toy for a little while. And of course, it's always that toy that's like the flashiest, most expensive one. And a lot of times, that toy they don't even really care about until you take it away. And then all of a sudden, it's like the holy grail of toys, and they absolutely can't live without it. And they'll fabricate all of these like important benefits as a last-ditch effort to keep that toy, even though they can't provide proof of these benefits and don't know what the hell they're really talking about. And of course, a major rule of parenting is you don't negotiate with a child. And why they even have the toys beyond you, you didn't agree to them having it. Their wacky uncle went over your head and just showed up with it one day. And let's face it, he really bought it for himself. He fell for a sales pitch by this dude who doesn't even have a background in toy making. It didn't come with any instructions and has this weird subscription thing he had to commit to, which makes you wonder who the toy even belongs to. And there's been many recalls on this toy. Reports from all over the country coming out about false advertising, how it doesn't really do what it claims to do, and how it does much, much more than anyone could have ever imagined. Sometimes putting people in danger. There are even some uncles who have swallowed their pride and returned the toys. But unfortunately, this uncle is slow to act because of the carrying on of these kids. Maybe there's still a chance they'll listen to reason. The only way these kids would do the right thing is if they grew up, but they refuse to. Let's see if this unlawful emergency declaration that is still in effect, for example, gets them grounded, or maybe even a one-way ticket to reform school. So again, from a mother to another's, you're appreciated for all you do and for all you put up with. For those about to brunch, we salute you. Get the flock out of Troy. Thank you very much.
Hello and good evening, City Council. Members of the City Council, my name is Echo Goff. I'm a resident of the 5th District. I am now speaking at the correct time. I'm here today to speak in strong favor of passing the proposed local law number 3 on the agenda. I'll say excuse me in advance if I'm not quite as articulate as I was, because there are some things that I need to address after hearing the mayor speak. The mayor talks about fiscal irresponsibility with having a clause in the local law, leaving the city available to lawsuits with misuse of flock. Did the mayor not call a state of emergency to use funds to keep flock going? Talk about a misuse of funds. Talk about a misuse of funds. I'm sorry, those are funds to be used for things like natural disasters, complete states of unrest. I've been walking around downtown going about as normal, and I don't see any natural disasters going on. So I would like to say that that is a gross, irresponsible use of funds. It's childish, it's pitiful, and it's unlawful. And I would like to see some accountability held against her for that. I would like to commend and say that I appreciate how much the City Council has listened to our concerns, bringing forward this new legislation. Thank you to the sponsors of this. This is a great step in the right direction. This would help establish a more transparent path forward and ensure that we don't fall into an unconstitutional contract again, even with a different ALPR provider. I'd like to propose that we approve this law and cancel the flock contract and replace it with a closed network standard license plate reader. A few things about flock as a company. As said by previous people speaking, unfortunately, they seem to be an incredibly untrustworthy entity, as they're being sued numerous times for violating agreements. And the thing is, they are a $1 billion company. They have big lawyers at their disposal. They can kind of do what they want in a lot of ways, unfortunately. They're a private, nationwide data gathering network, and that's a scary thing. They're not a camera company. They are a data collection, AI-driven network. And something that I could see, they mimic quite a bit of something a company called, sorry, let me bring my notes, of Plantier Technologies, which Plantier is genuinely named after the all-seeing eye in Lord of the Rings. Not a joke. And the CEO of that company is one of the biggest investors in Flock. And they have shared a lot of similarities in how they're going about things. They're just doing it at a more nationwide level versus whereas Plantier is doing a lot of overseas things. Plantier uses AI surveillance in direct collaboration with ICE. Amnesty International called out the company under the United States human rights principles to immediately cease their work with the Trump deportation program. Plantier is also a major contributor to war crimes in Gaza, as they have direct supportive partnership with Israel, and their AI-powered missiles have contributed to thousands of deaths of innocent Palestinians. Do we, as Troy, want to be putting money in the hands of this man and this company? And it's clear that Flock is aiming to create a mass surveillance state. And one of the main issues with this company is that they have some huge security issues. And this is something that they will never come out and say, we're very easy to hack. We have some big security issues. They will never be able to be held accountable for that because, like I said before, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. So I would like to ask, we have numerous examples of Flock violating agreements, such as stated from the people before me. I think that this is a great law that we should pass, and I would ask that we really try to hold Flock accountable if we do not cancel the Flock contracts, and I hope we cancel the Flock contracts. So please keep listening, keep fighting for the betterment of Troy. Please hold our mayor accountable for declaring a state of emergency. I know many people who were personally encouraged after the March meeting to be more involved and speak up more because they did feel their voices were being listened to. And this is what will build trust between the people of Troy and its local government. Let's do what the city does well. Stand up and stand out. Let's pass this local law and cancel the contract. Let's be an example for other cities that it is possible to break away from mass surveillance. Thank you very much for your time.
Does anyone else wish to address the council?
Bex Cahill, District 6. First off, happy day 36 of Carmela Mantello's illegal state of emergency. I would like to begin by addressing the proposed law. First, I would like to thank the council for listening to constituents' concerns and proposing ALPR legislation, as well as maintaining a constantly calm and professional demeanor while the city's administration continues to use inflammatory language, fear-mongering, and smear tactics. Legislation is a huge step in the right direction. However, the proposed legislation needs work. For example, a $1,000 fine holds absolutely no meaning to a multi-billion-dollar company. As for public concerns around the restriction of ALPR use, I once again would like to state on record that organizers have repeatedly reached out to both the mayor and the police department requesting a chance to sit down together and hear them out. They have repeatedly refused. We have repeatedly asked for them to provide the data supporting their claims that this technology has completed an annual $78,000 worth of police work. They have refused, which speaks for itself to tell us that the data does not exist. If it existed, where is it? So again, that would be $78,000 being removed from the Troy Police Department budget and put towards harming the community instead. Effectively, the administration is actively defunding the police. Flock Safety is a private company. They will never put our collective safety over their profits and market shares. The mayor just stood here and claimed to have concern over protecting victims of stalking. What about the 14 documented cases of law enforcement using flock cameras to stalk exes and love interests? What about March 4th, the first time I spoke at a city council meeting, when I came up here and said, hey, my stalker has been using flock cameras in Troy, New York to harm me and stalk me for 6 months. Carmela doesn't seem too concerned about me. It's also worth mentioning that the mayor claims that stolen cars will be excluded from the legislation, which is strange because it's explicitly called out as a legitimate and authorized use under Section 3B. Has she actually read the legislation? Finally, in the face of mountains of evidence proving flock to be causing significant harm, the administration's continued support of this technology can only possibly be due to sheer incompetence or malicious intent. I suspect both. Finally, I would like to take a moment to address Troy City Charter, Article 8, Section C33, subsection C, which covers the duty of the mayor and states to attend all, to take part in discussion, but not vote. To attend all regular and special meetings of the council and to take part in discussion, but not to vote except by the power of veto as set forth herein. It is the job description that she attends and participates in these meetings in full. So personally, I propose that she is given a specially reserved seat and expected to spend these meetings sitting with the city she represents instead of standing in the back hallway talking over the council and constituents to the point where the people actually in the room can hear her instead of the meeting. If Mantello can't feign interest in her constituents and meet the bare minimum of her job requirement, she is more than welcome to resign. The petition for her resignation, started by Troy citizens, has already reached at least 246 signatures from constituents. I just want to make sure you can hear me for back there, Mantello. That is again, me personally telling you, do your job or resign. Stop making the city a joke. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Frances from South Troy. I just have a short little thing to say. On Facebook, a place that has long been a safe haven for the mayor and her team to make inappropriate posts, about 90 people commented on City Hall's latest post about the new legislation. 63 were against Flock, and only 20 were for it. I have never seen the mayor get ratioed on Facebook, so that's really fun for me. The mayor continuously claims that we are the minority, that most people want flock cameras tracking their movements without a warrant. But where are those people? Were they here tonight? Were they here on March 19th? No. What it actually seems like is the mayor doesn't want to admit that she and her friends are the minority in this issue. The council has heard the majority of people's concerns about Flock and drafted legislation, which is the appropriate and responsible thing to do. I've only read it a couple times. I'm not a huge expert. I did see a couple loopholes, and I do hope that the draft is tightened up over the next few weeks. I am just really glad to see a council who is listening to the people and acting in concrete ways to improve our city. So thank you all.
I just wanted to recognize once again the value in the funding of the neighborhood improvement program by the council. It enables all sorts of neighborhood groups to beautify the city. In particular, Troy and Bloom appreciates the funding that allows us to plant over 70 planters in downtown Troy. Thank you for funding us again this year.
Thank you.
Oh, I can thank you. Forgot to say, I'm Marie Gavazzi from Fifth Avenue in Troy.
Thank you, Marie.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, seeing none, we will begin with the local law. Local law number 3, a local law establishing standards governing the city's use of automatic license plate reader, ALPR systems. This is for introduction only.
Councilmember McKee.
Thank you. Is this on? Other way. There it goes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm happy to present local law number 3, establishing standards governing the city's use of ALPR systems. These systems would provide the guardrails this law would provide the guardrails necessary to protect privacy rights while preserving law enforcement's ability to use the technology to solve crimes. The council is eager, I want to repeat, eager to engage in honest, productive dialogue with law enforcement and the public to finalize this legislation. We are united by a common purpose to equip our officers with effective tools to fight crime while upholding the constitutional protections, particularly our Fourth Amendment right to privacy that every resident of Troy is entitled to.
Thank you.
Moving on to ordinances. Ordinance 7. An ordinance amending the rules and regulations of the City of Troy Department of Public Utilities. Councilmember Campbell Cohen, Council President Steele. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Struber, a second by Councilmember Fabro. Any discussion on the ordinance? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, we have 7 ayes and 0 noes. Ordinance 7 is adopted. Absolutely. Ordinance 8.
Ordinance 8, ordinance amending chapter 264 of the Troy City Code, Councilmember Campbell Cohen, Council President Steele.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Di Lorenzo with a second by Councilmember Struber. Any discussion?
Councilmember? I was just going to say for those in the room who weren't at our previous meeting, many of these were discussed at our last meeting. So that's why it seems like we're moving fairly quickly.
Yes.
I'll add to that, there was also discussion with the administration about these to try to make this a sensible ordinance. I did want to see if anyone from DPU or the administration wanted to come out. If there's anything that might be a barrier to implementation, or if we're happy with it as is.
Andrew is back there. I don't know. He may not have heard you.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, well then, I guess for the time being, we're ready to go. And yeah, I want to thank residents who have been dealing with sewer fee problems, particularly urban farmers or people dealing with underutilized land, for their patience while this has been getting resolved. I know it's been a long time coming. And I think that this is just fair legislation that sort of rights a long time issue that has contributed to pretty jarring bills for water rates. So that's all I have to say.
Anything else? On the motion? I'm sorry, on the ordinance. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's 7 ayes and 0 noes. The ordinance passes. Ordinance 9.
Ordinance number 9, ordinance authorizing and approving the filing of the City of Troy's application for funding pursuant to the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, the McKinney Act Emergency Shelter Grant Program, and the Home Investment Partnership Program, and designating the mayor as the authorized representative of the city for those purposes. Councilmember Di Lorenzo, Council President Steele, at the request of the administration.
There a motion?
Motion.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember McKee, seconded by Councilman Campbell Cohen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's 7 ayes and 0 noes. Ordinance 9 is approved. Ordinance 10.
Ordinance 10, ordinance authorizing the reconveyance of real property acquired by in rem foreclosure, 34 Centerview Drive. Councilmember Spain McLaren, Council President Steele, at the request of the administration.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Di Lorenzo, seconded by Councilmember Struber. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes, the ordinance passes.
Ordinance 11.
Ordinance 11, ordinance approving a grant of easement to Niagara Mohawk Power Corporation and Verizon New York, Inc. Council President Steele at the request of the administration.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Struber, seconded by Councilmember McKee. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The ordinance passes.
Ordinance 12.
Ordinance 12, ordinance authorizing settlement of claim to wit, New York Central Mutual Fire Insurance Company, ASO, Anna L. Hughes versus Michael Borden in the City of Troy, Rensselaer County Supreme Court Index. Number EF 2022271535. Council President Steele at the request of the administration.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Favreau with a second by Councilmember Di Lorenzo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The ordinance passes.
Ordinance 13.
Ordinance 13, ordinance authorizing awards of neighborhood improvement project funds. Council President Steele, Councilmember Spain McLaren, Councilmember Struver.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Can't motion. You can second, but not motion. So do we have another motion?
Another motion.
Thank you. A motion by Councilmember Campbell Cohen with a second by Councilmember McKee. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The ordinance passes.
On to resolutions, number 41.
Resolution 41, resolution of the Troy City Council accepting Main Street grant in the amount of $200,000 for the Lansingburg Building Renovation Program and authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with TAP Inc. to administer the grant. Council President Steele, Councilmember Di Lorenzo at the request of the administration.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember McKee with a second by Councilmember Struber. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 42.
Resolution 42, resolution ratifying acceptance of a grant from the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation to undertake engineering planning activities at the City of Troy John P. Buckley Water Treatment Plant. Council President Steele at the request of the administration.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember McKee with a second by Councilmember Struber. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 43.
Resolution 43, a resolution authorizing the mayor on behalf of the city to enter into a contractual agreement with CDM Smith to investigate the city's sludge lagoons and sludge handling processes and to identify solutions that will bring them into regulatory compliance. Council President Steele at the request of the administration.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Favreau with a second by Councilmember Struber. Any discussion on the resolution? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 44.
Resolution 44, a resolution authorizing the mayor on behalf of the city to enter into a contractual agreement with Finch Turf Inc. to purchase Foley grinders. Council President Steele at the request of the administration.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Struber and a second by Councilmember Di Lorenzo. Any discussion? I just want to say that I know how happy the folks at the golf course are. I forget how many years they told me, but it's been like 30 or 40 years since they've had these replaced, so they're very happy about it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 45.
Resolution 45, a resolution of the Troy City Council ratifying acceptance of a New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Urban and Community Forestry grant and authorizing administration of the grant. Council President Steele at the request of the administration.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Struber with a second by Councilmember Campbell Cohen. Any discussion on the resolution? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 46.
Resolution 46, a resolution of the Troy City Council proclaiming May 1st, 2026 to be International Workers' Day in the city of Troy. Councilmember Campbell Cohen.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Nope. We'll have a motion by Councilmember McKee with a second by Councilmember Struber. Any discussion? Councilmember Campbell Cohen.
I've already spoken about this resolution. I'm really grateful to my colleagues here on the council for helping bringing it to this point, and I hope it passes in a moment. I just wanted to comment on, I think, record turnout at May Day events all across the country this year. I think people are sort of waking up and realizing that now is a time to be in community with one another, to be working in solidarity with one another. And what better place to start than in your workplace, where you are often for 8 or more hours a day. It's a scary and exciting time. I think May Day honors sort of a legacy of facing down your fears and finding common ground with the people around you. I'm really happy to see this moving forward. Thank you.
I would just like to add that my parents were on a long awaited trip abroad, and they happened to be in Paris on May Day and found themselves in the middle of a May Day parade in the streets of Paris. And it was really neat to see. They just kind of commented that it was just really cool to be in a different country and having people celebrate the same way that we do here. So
it's a lot rowdier in Europe.
Yeah.
A lot more police barricades.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 47.
Resolution 47, a resolution of the Troy City Council proclaiming May 22nd, 2026 to be Harvey Milk Day in the city of Troy. Councilmember Campbell Cohen, Councilmember DiLorenzo, Councilmember Spain McLaren.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Fabro, a second by Councilmember Struber. And discussion on the resolution?
Council President?
Yes.
I just wanted to say, proud to co-sponsor this resolution recognizing Harvey Milk Day. And I want to thank Councilmember Campbell Cohen for drafting it. I think it's important that we recognize such a distinguished individual in Harvey Milk. His courage and visibility helped open doors for countless people across America. And I think as elected officials here, it's important that we have a responsibility to set an example for our community and for our city to the values that we uphold and the people that we recognize. And so, I think it's important that this council continues to move forward, recognizing, inclusivity and people that are community oriented. Let's continue to recognize people and organizations who contribute to expanding freedom and equality in our country and in our city. And so I'm glad to say that District 1 is helping to support this resolution tonight. So thank you.
I would just like to add that I'm equally proud to co-sponsor this and thank Councilmember Campbell Cohen for bringing it to the table. I think it's important that we keep the memory of people like Harvey Milk alive when others have tried to eradicate it. namely by removing his name from a ship that was named after him. You know, we can still honor him and remember him and everything that he stood for. So we'll be celebrating on May 22nd. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 48.
Resolution 48, a resolution of the Troy City Council urging the state of New York to preserve the Martin Dunham Reservoir and Dam in Grafton Lake State Park. Councilmember Campbell Cohen, Councilmember Favreau.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Struber with a second by Councilmember McKee. Any discussion? I just think it's important to note that this was our original, before the Tom Hannock, this was our source of water for the city of Troy, and it's important that it be preserved. On the resolution? I mean, all in favor? I'm sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 49.
Resolution 49, a resolution to commend the North Central Community Solidarity Group for continued service to the community. Councilmember Struper.
I can make a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by myself and a second by Councilmember McKee. Any discussion on the resolution?
Council President.
Yes.
I just wanted to thank the North Central Community Solidarity Group and every person who came out for them today. I've been working with them for years and appreciate everything that they do at a grassroots level. And I know how hard it is with limited resources to do the kind of work in the community that they do. So very happy to put forward this resolution and hoping to help them continue their work.
Councilmember?
Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you to Councilmember Struber for bringing this forward. Prior to this resolution, I had never heard of this group. And so hearing them all show out, come tonight and speak up, their enthusiasm is high. Their impact seems extremely high. And so now they're on my radar. Thank you for that. And great work to them. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 50.
Resolution 50, a resolution proclaiming May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Troy, New York. Councilmember Spain McLaren.
We have a motion.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember McKee with a second by Councilmember Struber. Any discussion? I spoke earlier about it. Would just like to speak again to reiterate the fact that the second, just want to make sure I get it completely right. Suicide is now the second leading cause of death for the age group of 10 to 24-year-olds. An increase of 52% since the year 2000, which I think is astounding and very noteworthy. Again, I think Troy is in crisis, as is a lot of the country. Providers just leaving the area. It's almost a desert. And would continue to encourage people to speak out, to not encourage the stigma, especially for marginalized groups. You know, it's prevalent, and we need to make sure that people are getting the support that they need. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 51.
Resolution 51, a resolution of the Troy City Council scheduling a public hearing on proposed local law number 3 of 2026, establishing standards governing the city's use of automatic license plate reader, ALPR, systems. Councilmember McKee.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. A motion by Councilmember Struber with a second by Councilmember DiLorenzo. Any discussion? And so we have set the public hearing for June 4th at 5:30, in case you missed it the first time. On the resolution, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
Resolution 52.
Resolution 52, a resolution appointing James Brent Mason as city marshal for the city of Troy. Council President Steele.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
I can second. So we have a motion by Councilmember DiLorenzo with a second by Councilmember Spain McLaren. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
And resolution 53.
Resolution 53, a resolution appointing Commissioner of Deeds for the city of Troy. Council President Steele.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion by Councilmember Struber with a second by Councilmember McKee. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
7 ayes, 0 noes. The resolution passes.
At this point in the evening, anyone can speak on any item, not necessarily on the agenda, but any item. And if so, please come forward and share your name and place of residence.
Hello, my name is Frankie and I'm a resident of Troy. And I just want to say how refreshing it is to hear from Councilmember DiLorenzo that Harvey Milk is an important person because I remember who was in your seat when it came to the Pride Month acknowledgement last year. And it's a good day for Troy that you're sitting in that seat. And I just want to thank you very much for that.
Does anyone else wish to address the council?
I thought, well, I was still here anyway, I might as well. I want to speak to the benches that were removed from downtown. I really miss those. They were a place that I used to sit. And it seems unfair to deprive 50,000 people of those benches. So if anyone can do anything about that, I would really appreciate it. Marie Gavazzi, Fifth Avenue, Troy, once again.
Thank you. Thank you, Marie.
Good evening again, Silva Menard, Fifth Ave between Federal and Jacob. Just a very quick comment. Last year, we only received 2 out of 4 quarterly financial reports from the mayor's office. I'd like to see the first quarter report from 2026 promptly. Thank you.
Hello, Avi Menard, Fifth Ave, Troy, New York. Okay, so I would like to see some transparency from the administration. We want an audit on Flock. If it is truly a key tool for policing, we want to know. But if it isn't, and the data doesn't show that, then that's a discussion that needs to be had. But there needs to be dialogue, and I would urge the administration to come and talk to the council. Same with the police. And do your research, please. Thank you.
Seeing no one else wishes to address the council, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
we have a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?